and welcome to For Real Life Pod. My name is Cherin. I am a super Bluey fan.
And I'm Tori, a total Bluey newbie, watching the episodes for the very first time.
And together we're reviewing and recapping the many adventures of the Healer family.
Let's dive in.
I don't know what that says. I can't read.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 3, Episode 30, Puppets.
Wow.
No.
30.
I know. I had to actually double check because I was like, weren't we just recording like episode 15 the other day?
Ugh, so quick.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. So how have you been, Tori? It's been a little bit of time. I just want to check in with you. What's up? What's been going on before we talk puppets?
Summer vacation. Summer vacay here in Florida. It is hot, but swimming and staying cool.
Very nice.
How about
Similar. It's been very busy, but actually started back to school shopping, and I'm pretty sure that by the time this episode airs, the kids will already be back in school, which blows my mind.
It's crazy.
But yeah, just like it's flown by. But I'm excited to sit down today to talk about puppets and the one, the only Unicorse.
He's back.
Guess who's back? Back again. Unicorse is back. Tell your friends. Guess who's back? Sorry. That's like that version of that song came into my car earlier today. So what is your synopsis? How would you explain to people puppets?
I kept this one simple. Bluey and Bingo try to teach Unicorse how to behave.
That was a very Disney Plus synopsis of you.
Yeah, I considered going into the whole meta-ness and was like, no, I'm going to leave that alone. That can be like a surprise ending.
The ending for sure was a surprise with this episode. I remember being like, wait, what? What are they doing? But we'll get there. So what did you think overall about this super meta episode?
I thought it was fun to have Unicorse back. I didn't love the first Unicorse episode. So I guess my takeaway is that like I like this one better.
Yeah.
And of course the like super meta ending where like Bluey is a puppet was like kind of a beautiful, nice little meta check mark at the end. So that was kind of a fun, Bluey is amazing that the ending always just kind of does a fun little twist or button or hit that you're just unexpecting. So I thought that was kind of nice.
What about the lesson in this episode? What did you kind of think about what they were talking about or not talking about?
I felt like behaving in a socially acceptable way, and like there was kind of a lot going on. So yeah, the lesson was a little more
nuanced.
Yes, exactly. Good word.
Well, and the reason I asked that, obviously, I'm like leading the witness here, but is because when I was going back through recapping this episode and looking at it to talk about it, I was like, wait, where's the lesson again in this? Like, what exactly are they saying? Are they saying that we're all puppets? Are they saying, is this just a commentary on themselves? Is this, because, normally Bluey has a really great message or something that they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that we've just come to expect that. So then I was kind of trained to look for it, and I didn't really necessarily notice it, but it was still a good episode. I still liked it.
Totally.
And I did. I like Unicorse a little bit better in this one too.
Well, if you won't listen to me, maybe you'll listen to Unicorse! How's it going, Salmon Dodgers?
All right. So let's dive into the episode. We're going to recap it. We're going to talk about it as we go through. So on the Bluey TV website, this is episode 29. Again, we remember, got a little bit out of the sync. We're going to be out of sync for the rest of the season because of the family meeting. But it says, Bluey and Bingo teach Unicorse good manners so he can ask Mom on a date, but things go awry when Unicorse eats a tick.
Because of course he does.
Because of course he does. Of course. Blah. So it opens and we see Bandit, Bluey, and Bingo at the table eating. Bandit asks Bluey to try not to chew with her mouth open, but she says she keeps forgetting. When they go back to eating and Bluey starts chewing with her mouth open again, Bandit takes out Unicorse to see if she will listen to him. Both of the girls are very excited. Did you expect that we would be seeing Unicorse again?
I did not. I was like, hello.
Yes, I was also surprised that we saw Unicorse again. Bandit starts to explain to Unicorse that Bluey is chewing with her mouth open, but Unicorse says he does that all the time, like no big deal. Like, what? That's not even a problem. He then proceeds to eat a tick from his own hair, causing Bandit to take back what he said earlier about listening to Unicorse, because as Bandit explains, he is. Do we think Bandit just carries around Unicorse all the time? Like,
or was he prepared?
Does he sit in? Was he prepared? Was he like, this is the third day in a row that I've had to tell Bluey to chew with her mouth closed. I'm going to keep Unicorse here with me. Like, maybe Unicorse just sits like down to the side in that weird cabinet curio thing. I don't know.
I like the theory that he planned it, that like he knew this has been a problem and he brought Unicorse to the table. He gives Bandit a little credit, so I like that one.
Yeah, kind of sets Bluey up. Bandit says that he is a grub because he doesn't brush his teeth or eat vegetables or take showers, to which Unicorse replies with a loud burp, causing the girls to again laugh because everything Unicorse does is funny. Gross body humor again. Just as Bluey is explaining that they don't want Unicorse to change, Chili walks in, and I enjoy the slow-mo action that happens in this scene. Unicorse is love-struck and proclaims that he's going to marry her. Like, that's my girl. But Bingo explains that she's already married. And we get the catchphrase, and why should I care? Unicorse goes to try to woo Chili, asking her when they will get married, but she won't have any of it. She then says that he looks like he's never cleaned his teeth, brushed his hair, or had a shower in his life. Probably because he's a poet. Dejected Unicorse starts to cry, and Bandit is about to take off the puppet, but the kids beg him to keep going. So Unicorse decides that he's not quitting it until he and Chili are married. He asks the girls if they can help him do all the things Chili mentioned, like teeth combing and showers. Oh, showers. He says it wrong.
Yeah, he says it funny.
He says it funny. I do not say it funny. Anyway, he says it wrong. The girls have to correct him. Unicorse then goes to follow the girls, but obviously can't move since he's attached to Bandit, who's just lying on the ground saying, I do this to myself. And that is when we get the title card with a voiceover by Unicorse.
The thing is, I do this to myself.
I feel like that was a record for longest cold open ever, nearly 3 minutes.
It was so long.
So many plot points and conversation, and it was a lot.
A lot of stuff happened. I like everything that's happening here for a couple of reasons. One, Bandit is very self-aware. Again, you are doing all of this to yourself. You have made the game harder than it needs to be. He's also kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit in this. I don't know if there is a better title card than Unicorse saying that he has no idea what it says because he can't read.
That was a funny add-on. So funny.
I just died. It was the funniest thing. I have no idea what it says. I can't read.
I feel like that was an ad lib and they kept it.
Maybe, yeah. It was probably Dave, and he was and they were like, that was great. Let's just keep that take. So the episode starts up again, and first up, they're in the bathroom where Unicorse is trying to use an electric toothbrush, but of course gets toothpaste all over the bathroom when he goes to turn it on. Because as I like to remind my child, you need to put it in your mouth first before you press the button. I don't know why this is hard to understand, but my son has a regular toothbrush, and then he also has an electric toothbrush, and the number of times that he's forgotten to put it in his mouth and then turn it on.
Mess.
So this is definitely a for real life moment. Yeah, not quite get all over like it did in here, but definitely happened before. Next, Unicorse takes a shower and acts as though the water is hurting him. Though not as much as when he's getting his hair combed because he rams his horn into Bluey, which I thought was funny. And the girl's just giggling the whole time. My other thought here is just Bandit lying in the bottom of the shower.
I did not have that visual, but I kind of love it.
Or crouching down in the shower where the puppet hand is up above him because you can't see him. And then obviously lying on the floor in the girl's bedroom, dying. So good. Then Bluey and Bingo tried to serve him a broccoli floret, and he pretends to vomit because, of course, he does. Bluey explains that no one wants to eat broccoli except Bingo, which I just love that. She's like, except for me. But he'll have to do it because Mom loves broccoli eaters. We then get a quick mini montage. I'm calling it a mini montage of Unicorse braving the shower again, getting his hair combed, and brushing his teeth, all while looking at a picture of Chili, which I thought was so funny. Like, I am the prize there, Unicorse. After cleaning himself up, which included braiding his beard, his lovely little beard, and putting a little bow tie on him, the girls tell him to go talk to Chili. But before he goes, Bluey has to remind him that he cannot, and I wrote that down in all caps, eat a tick in front of her, because that's super gross. No manners there.
Good rule.
Yeah, generally in life, that's a pretty good rule to follow. It's kind of like picking your nose. I think our equivalent would be like picking your nose. Like,
yeah.
Just do it in private, just not in front of other people. Like, if you got to do it, like, I don't judge. Just not in front of me. Both Unicorse and Bandit agree not to eat the tick in front of her. And off we go. But I do find it funny that the girls called out Bandit and Unicorse is like, what does it got to do with him? You know, kind of setting up the whole, what do you mean I'm a puppet? I just want to be a real boy. Chili, who is looking at a magazine on the couch, is startled when Unicorse shows up. He then tells her that he just got out of the shower and invites her to eat some broccoli with him. So again, he cannot say the word quite right, and then the girls have to remind him. Again, it's all a lot funnier than me. Chili is about to agree, stating that she really likes his little bow tie, but before she can fully accept, he decides to eat a tick from his own hair, causing her to flee the room, pretending to vomit.
I don't know about pretending.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed really upset. She was like, oh, God. Oh, geez.
Hey, Toots, when are we getting married?
Smooth.
I'd say never.
At this, Unicorn becomes very upset and tells the girl that he tried his best, but he just can't help it. The girls tell him no, that it is not his fault. It is Bandit. But Unicorse doesn't understand. So they tell him he's a puppet and that Bandit controls him. We get some laughter by Unicorse because he still does not believe. But to prove it, the girls have him try to say something at the same time as Bandit. They, of course, don't do it at the same time because Bandit is clearly controlling him. But Unicorse is still not convinced. So the girls then finally have Bandit tell him, quote unquote, the truth. Unicorse is still not believing it. So as a last ditch effort, they tell him to look down where he sees his non-existent legs. I like how that's the straw that broke his back. Like he finally got there because he was like, oh wow, I have no legs.
Well, the thing.
Also, one of my I still think that the quote over the title card is my favorite. This is probably my second favorite. My life is a lie. And then Bandit has one more thing to show him. His wedding photo with Chili.
Kick him when he's down, Bandit. Kick him when he's down.
Oh, like on top of all of it, you definitely can't marry her because she's married to me. Unicorse just can't take it anymore, and they go out to the porch where Bandit sits in the chair, Unicorse sulking over the side. Chili and the girls come out and ask him what he's doing. Unicorse questions why they are even asking him anything since he is no one. He's no one. He's nobody. He's nothing. Then, with some prodding from Chili, Bluey grabs him and puts him on before passing him to Bingo and finally over to Chili, who says, you know what's good about being no one? You're everyone, before giving him a kiss. I do not understand that line at all. I'm just going to say it.
Is this the lesson you were asking about earlier? Like, what does this mean?
Well, normally Chili has, when Chili's involved or she says one of her great Chili like quotes, it's very deep. Mm-hmm. It's very thoughtful. It's great advice. She just always nails it. And this sentence had the feeling like it was supposed to be one of those things. And I don't get it.
Yeah, like usually you can depend on Chili to like bring it home and like get that moment and you're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I just didn't understand it. And I was like, maybe
Yeah.
somebody else did, but not me. So, whatever. That night, Unicorse tucks Bluey in, asking her if she's a puppet, but she just giggles and tells him not to be silly before falling asleep. Then during her dream, it pulls out and we see a human hand manipulating her rig in cell action. It's like CELACTION, all one word. It's a trademark, which is what actually Ludo uses to make Bluey. So it's the program that they use. And I have to say it looks very time consuming. And I found a fact about that I'll mention here in a minute. And then when the little scene is over, they then play it out. And it's basically Bluey sitting up and saying, wow, that was a weird dream. Like, end of episode. The most bonkers ending ever.
Yeah.
It was so cool, though.
Are they trying to say that like we live in the Matrix? Like Bluey doesn't think she's a puppet and she is. So we don't think we're a computer program and we are.
I mean,
the Bluey Matrix episode. That should have been my synopsis. Bluey tells us that we live in the Matrix.
She's already married.
And what should I get?
If you want to, we can I'll edit that back in. No, I'm just kidding. That is actually a much better synopsis. Bluey tries to explain that we are living in the Matrix and our life is just a lie.
My life is a lie.
God, I kind of wish everything was a lie right now. It is bananas out there in the world, people. Oh my gosh. So about that final scene, the hand was actually Joe Brum's hand.
Oh, nice. That's
creator.
A cute touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So he did the key animation for the scene, and he said that it took about an hour and a half.
Wow.
And that they shot about 1 frame per second. So if you think that tiny bit took an hour and a half, and the episodes are only 7 minutes, with the exception of the final episode, which is it's so much work.
Yeah.
So much work. And also, animation now is not as much work as it used to be, where it was all hand drawn, right?
Yeah, so much faster than it used to be. Yeah, there are those ticks. Go ahead.
It's to me, I like seeing it because it's a nice reminder that a lot of work goes into these episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice touch. It reminds me of, I'm getting all these TikToks of like Disney showing like Disney animation where they like use the same animation for more than one movie. So like one is like Jungle Book and one is like Winnie the Pooh. So it's from like, I don't know, 60s, 70s, like before computer animation. And it's like, yeah, no wonder they reuse stuff because it was so labor intensive and so much work to do all of that. So yeah, even though it's computer animated, it's easier. It's still super time consuming.
Yeah, super duper time consuming. Okay, some of the other facts that I found is that the word that Bluey and Unicorse both tried to say at the same time it's BAUXITE. I don't even know how to say it, but apparently it's a rock and the world's main source of aluminum and gallium. Okay, I'm going to assume that's correct, people. I do not have a science degree.
I did think it was a weird word when they said to say it. I was like, who picked that word? So I'm glad you looked it up. I feel smarter.
Yeah. And apparently the animators don't typically use a stylist to animate on the show, as using a keyboard and mouse is much more effective. Just moving things around. As you mentioned, the episode had a super long cold open. Bananas. And then this is the second occurrence where the title card is not properly read. Do you remember the other time where we had a title card and the name of the episode did not happen?
It's a good trivia. I can't think of anything.
It was in season 2.
Was it? Maybe that was season 1 when Bingo was in the hospital. No, what was it?
Bus.
Oh, really?
With the Grannies. Because it's a
Oh,
granny's voiceover, and they're like,
got it.
never mind. You know? She's like,
Oh, okay,
this
that makes
episode
sense.
of Bluey is called never mind, or like something to that point. Yeah. There's something I want to talk about, but I'll save that to the very end, since again, it's one of those spoiler, non-spoiler for the very last episode of the season.
Okay.
Something that like I was like, that doesn't it's kind of like the Bluey as a baby, but is different than Socks as a baby. It's like in that same vein. So I'll mention it here in a moment after some of the other stuff. Joe Brum also mentioned that he actually used to play Unicorn with his kids. So
Cute.
I think it was definitely like taken from some for real life stuff.
Nice.
And then the Disney Plus version of the episode is censored.
Is it?
Yep.
What they
So
take
when
out?
so at the beginning, when Unicorse offers Chili a sample of his chili sauce stain, remember she's like, "Oh, you have chili sauce on you." His line was changed from "care for a lick" to "do you want a bit?" I don't. It's the things we care about. Again, we're living in the Matrix.
Oh my God, so
Just
funny.
why? Okay, and then if you haven't seen the last episode, The Sign, pause it for a minute and then, or hit the little half circle button where you skip for 30 seconds, because I'm going to talk about some here.
Jump forward.
So jump forward.
My life is a lie.
You have been warned. Chili, in the photo of Chili and Bandit getting married, they're wearing clothes. Like full on. She has a full on wedding dress on.
Mm-hmm.
But in the sign, when Frisky gets married, all she has is her hair done. And she has the veil. She didn't wear any clothes.
Scandalous.
Think about it. But it's just weird.
Like, why wouldn't it be consistent?
Why wouldn't it be consistent? Especially after all the hullabaloo around baby Bluey versus baby Socks.
Mm-hmm.
And the differences there. So I just thought it was like interesting.
It was interesting. The clothes situation in the show is just very inconsistent and doesn't make any sense.
I feel like maybe it was because they've shown us the picture of Chili wearing and Bandit married before. Like you can see it in the background. So I wonder if they just kept it for that consistency. But also if you're working on another like they're so consistent about so many things, except for these two things.
Yeah.
It makes me a little crazy. All right. So hopefully you guys skipped that if you hadn't seen the last episode. If you didn't, then surprise. You've been living under a rock. Just kidding. But we appreciate you going in order for sure. So just wanted to check in and see if you kind of had any. I didn't necessarily have any for real life moments because I never really played puppets with my son too much. But I definitely know some people who chew with their mouth open, and it drives me bananas. I'm not going to name them, but because they probably don't know who they are. Because I feel like people who chew with their mouth open don't realize it's incessantly annoying. But if I had to pick something that bugged me like the most out of things that other people do, you know how like some people like they pick at their nails, they like crack their knuckles. I'm looking at you.
Me.
Some people
totally me.
crack their knuckles. I can deal with all that, but people that sit over there and just go, shut your mouth. Shut it right now. Zip it. Makes me crazy.
Well, your for real life moment was the toothbrushing thing. No, I didn't really have. I didn't really have any for real life moments either. Because to your point, we don't pretend to be annoying unicorses and aggravate everyone around us. Not my favorite character on Bluey, Unicorse. But just be obnoxious on purpose.
But it's obnoxious with a purpose. Not on purpose, but with a purpose.
Whatever, I guess.
Do you have a feeling that Unicorse will come back? Because I can't imagine he doesn't in some point, or he's like in the background. He's not as annoying as Chattermax to me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Chattermax, it's just, I don't know. It's who he is. It's just, he chatters. But Unicorse is like, I'm obnoxious. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think Unicorse is coming back. I think he's one of those beloved characters. A lot of people really like him. He has a fun catchphrase. So yeah, definitely I predict he will be back as well.
Do you have any other notes about this episode?
I loved the breaking the fourth wall. And I know we talked about it earlier when he says, the thing is, I do it to myself. I'm like, yes, Bandit. I love that moment. That was hilarious. And of course, the ending was pretty epic too.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what the conversation was. But I found another fact. I forgot about this one. I don't think I wrote this down, but I just thought of it. That I read that in animation, the characters are called puppets as well. So like it's like meta. It's like triple meta.
Yeah, totally.
So they went like way down the rabbit hole on this
Deep.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, deep. But I don't think they ever circled back to the having manners is good though. I feel like that fell off though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever Bandit tries to use Unicorse to teach a lesson, I feel like the lesson gets lost just because Unicorse is such a personality. It kind of like he loses focus on what the original plan was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that happened in the other episode too. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Come back next week. Oh my God. Would we have like the opposite of this episode? You know what the opposite of a Unicorse episode is?
What?
Turtle Boy. So sweet. All right. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please, please, please share it with your friends. Go online, rate the podcast, follow us to get the newest content drops right when they release. And of course, message us. You can find us on Instagram at forreallife.pod, or you can send us an email at forreallife.pod@gmail.com. Again, that's FORREALLIFE.pod.